It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went back to the world of rings and lanterns. Yes, I went there. And you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to get into that. First couple things. I want to give a big shout out to the good old US of A. We got a lot of plays in USA this past week. I live here, so it's very awesome that I get plays in USA. But to be clear, I get plays in USA all the time. I usually shout out the other countries because that doesn't happen as much. You know, this is where I live, so of course it's a given that good old America is going to play me. And I appreciate you guys. All 50 states, the territories, everybody in America. Doesn't matter politics, doesn't matter any of that. I love you because you're America, bro. We live in America, the greatest country in the world, universe, multiverse. Yes, we're here. And thank you for listening to America. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album called The Lucha Of Language, featuring the one and only Che Mysterio, which is actually me. It's me, Che Cortez, being Che Mysterio, for an album that is electronic, hip-hop, avant-garde, influenced by Latino culture and luchador wrestling and wordplay and all the things I've experienced in my 50 years on planet Earth. I am a diehard wrestling fan going way back. The luchadors are phenomenal. Love seeing them. Rey Mysterio, La Parca, just to name a couple. And so yes, this album is heavily influenced by that. So if you hear the album, well, check it out now. Let's get the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't leave Green Lantern where I left it at. There was more to talk about, so here's part 2 coverage of the pilot episode of the Green Lantern show. No more stories, no me telling you how it influenced my life or none of that. We getting right into it, right into the actual show. Let me start right now. First of all, Hal Jordan, when we see him, not quite what I expected. So in this show, he came out as a Lantern in 1996. Now for me, 1996 is a huge year. Huge year for me. It's a very impactful, one of my favorites on Earth. Huge. It's interesting how 96 is where, he came out. And he's quoted on the screen saying, after I lost a parent, I wasn't afraid of anything. Right? And because I guess one of the qualifications to become a Lantern, they ask you, are you afraid? Say, no, I'm not. And I can say as someone that's lost a parent, yeah. The game does change, your life does change, your perspective changes, and it really does make you less fearful, more fearless than prior. Because literally, once that happens, there's very few things. I mean, of course, there's other things that can happen, but that's one of the biggest things that can happen to a human being, to lose any parent, especially when you care about it deeply. And so, after that, what? Now, with my parents, I got to see, where people go when they're sick and how the whole process works. And so, seeing that has gave me a new viewpoint of life, 100%. It's fearless, but also compassion at the same time. So I totally understand that. So yeah, so that's a great quote by him in that show. And I wanted to address that and talk about that because I thought it was phenomenally good. Now, actually, Hal Jordan had dropped some, a bunch of lessons within the show, phenomenally well. He's a little older, kind of jaded and all that, but still is about the business, still able to take care of the business. So yeah, so that was going down in the episode. And there's another thing I want to get into too. And I thought about this all day today. So when the Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan go to the town to investigate, the hailstorm, whatever, the quotation mark hailstorm. They run into some trouble, spoiler, Hal Jordan gets in a fight. And he gets, locked up. So in the process of getting unlocked up, he gets freed, he gets on bail. The Green Lantern's on bail, because he was locked in jail, which is craziness. But anyways, a little side note, John Ritter's son, Jason Ritter, actually is one of the guys that freed him. Jason Ritter, John Ritter's son, is in this episode. Phenomenally good. I love John Ritter. And of course, because I love John Ritter, love Jason Ritter. The Ritters are phenomenal people. It was so cool that John Ritter's kid is in there. Jason Ritter, phenomenal. Love it. Awesome. So anyways, Hal gets out. And then John and Hal go to this ranch. Some local rich man, whatever. So they go and they talk to him. And then, the rich guy bailed him out for, a certain reason to do stuff. But as they're having a conversation, they walk in, he's like, you guys didn't, do all the research about walking in here and, seeing what's going down before you enter the space. That's a standard. And so I thought about that. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. Before you'd enter some kind of space, you want to know everything you want to know about it, right? I'm going to research everything, know everything, and do all these things, right? I totally get that mindset to kind of do that, maybe research our human being or whatever. But then I was kind of thinking today, like in the game of strategy in the world, is he right or not? Are you better off walking and not knowing? Because if you don't know, you can react in a more natural way that's not tainted by knowing, right? So if you go into space and they got all this information about a certain human being or some kind of structure and you read it like, oh my gosh, I mean, you're influenced by the words and language going into it. And it might be negative, like you might perceive it as dangerous or scary or whatever based on the words that painted what it was. Now, if you're walking without that, you might not have that on your mind, right? So I wonder, is it good to kind of do all that research? I mean, a lot of people, groups, organizations, whoever it may be, they use words to paint how important, powerful, strong, smart, whatever, to that image of them or their organization or whatever, or their people, whatever, the family, people, organization, whatever. They use words to strike that. Words, language, web pages, graphics. These languages show you, look how powerful we are, look how strong, look how real, whatever you try to convey. So if you do the research and look all this up, you might see these people, this person is a certain way because, oh my gosh, look at all this. Some of it might be true, not all of it, necessary. As I go down this rabbit hole, a lot of massaging of images and words and language is done that maybe distorts the actual reality of what's actually going on there. So I always talk about, a lot of this is Wizard of Oz, smoke and mirrors, we'll see what's behind the curtain. I did a track with Renee LA on the long gold jackets. It talks about this. It's like peep behind the curtain, things ain't what they seem. Wake yourself up, wait for the journey, something like that. And it's just basically about, seeing beyond maybe the initial presentation of what's in front of you, right? Yeah, so that's what that song's about. And as I've navigated life, with Renee LA as well, I've seen more and more as I look deeper this happens. And so reading and prepping, maybe that's not the move. Now, of course, you may want to lay out to a building if you're gonna do a clearing or something, of course. But I'm talking about just knowing more about the human or the organization. Maybe it's best not to. Maybe it is going there a little ignorant because you're not intimidated by whatever it may be. Right, I do feel too when people solve problems, sometimes looking at the problem without prior information, just to look at it from a fresh perspective with not knowing anything, and then look at it, sometimes people miss some of the most basic things because they've been thinking about it too hard. If you come in with nothing on it, just analyze the issue from the jump, from the start, you might see it differently. I mean, so I think, I'm not really sure. But that was a good statement by that dude. I can't remember the dude's name, but the rich dude. And additionally, they was just dropping a lot of it's just gems of inspiration of how maybe to move through life in a positive way, right? To not be fearful or scared or cautiously fearful. Not even always be scared, but cautiously move forward, cautiously aware, right? I think a lot of what stops us as human beings from achieving anything is the fear of being judged, the fear of whatever. And then, being the Green Lantern, whatever, it's fueled by willpower, imagination, and belief. It's like I said in the other podcast, part one, the reason I was drawn to it when I was younger is that very thing. Like I said, I was in the hole for years just trying to get out of it because I went through some adversity, like I said, and I just had to crawl out the hole. And part of the journey of doing that was, through the Green Lantern, like I told you in the last episode, because I found the inspiration of willpower, imagination, creativity, one that could, that you could use in real life to fuel the shaping of your path to shape reality in a better way. And as I walked the path from 2010 to current, it has been shaped in a way that is better. Now, don't get me wrong, there was huge L's, like massive L's. But there was also wins, a lot of wins as well, and a lot of good times and bad times, right? So modeling after this character, this power, this whole world had to help me immensely. And so the show as I'm watching, like, yeah, it's doing the same thing. I was like, these lessons in the show, they're reinforcing beliefs I have or something I hadn't thought about. So anyways, bro, like, I just kind of want to get into a little bit of that. And there was more too, like Jon Stewart. You know, Cena Trial, wasn't sure, but yeah, he does embody Jon Stewart. I'm loving Jon Stewart. I feel he carries himself like I thought Jon Stewart would. He has the voice of him. He has the look, right? And I remember I've read these comics for a long period of time. I had a certain vibe what they'd be like. And I feel he fits the bill. Not what I expected, but I do welcome it. Now, once this podcast is done, right here, I'm going to go look at reviews because I have not looked at them in the last day or two because I don't want to know what other people are thinking. So it should be interesting to see how it's received. I think it'll be received well, but you never know these people out here. You never know how they react. Like, oh my gosh, you never know. So anyways, Green Lantern, you should definitely watch it. I highly recommend it. Green Lantern changed my life. And until next time, we'll see. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.